Hi, this is Pastor Clark here at Sardis Missionary Baptist Church. I want to take this time to thank you for worshiping with us via social media on Sunday during this time of COVID-19. You're always welcome to join in with us as we experience Christ, share his word, and build believers, even here during this time. Thanks again. Please feel free to join us.
Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. Now a man from the family of Levi married a Levite woman. The woman became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was beautiful, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with asphalt and pitch. She placed her child in it and set it among the reeds by the bank of the Nile. Then his sister stood at a distance in order to see what would happen to him. The grass withers, the flowers fade, the word of our God shall stand forever. I want to talk about this morning. Parenting in difficult times. Life has a way of imposing upon us change. COVID-19, for instance, has imposed upon us an impasse of 6 feet. We call it now social distancing. Handshakes are no longer permitted. They have become the new taboo. Hugs are no longer healthy anymore, nor are they considered proper as a thing to do. We're having to do things differently now because life imposes change upon us. We're having to do things differently with respect to spatial requirements, respecting each other's space. For instance, hug your neighbor at the behest and request of your pastor or preacher is no longer something we can afford to do, because we all will carry into our sacred spaces of worship the stigma and the science of a deadly coronavirus disease. Although life imposes change upon us, some changes are good, and some changes are not. Organic change, for instance, is good. It is a change that is normally and organically a part of our lives, while engineered change is not. Organic change, for instance, we all are going to get older. As a matter of fact, now some of us are already older. We're not as spry, alert, and active as we used to be. Physically, we change. Our hair turns gray. For some of us, our hair has turned completely away. Organic change is good, however, but engineered change, I would argue, is not. Engineered change is change when you manipulate a situation or something or someone in order to get your own way, or in order to alter its design, its intended purpose, and or its form to satisfy yourself. Engineered change ain't normal. This is the kind of situation that we find Moses in, and Jochebed, his mother, has to do whatever she has to do to fight for her baby's survival. Can you imagine the pain and the trauma of this whole saga that was a part of Israel's experience? The pain and the trauma of this is more than we can say. For instance, can you see how others were impacted by this? Can you see how others were pained by this and were traumatized by this? Can you see Miriam, Moses' sister, standing by the river to see what would become of her brother. Can you imagine the trauma of unjust systems? Don't get it misconstrued. Unjust systems are always designed to induce trauma. For instance, engineered change is when you can legislate and legalize protections for one group of people to kill and to mistreat another group of people without taking responsibility or to do so with impunity. When you can grant protection to an assassin. When a young man running in New Brunswick, Georgia, is gunned down on his daily run and his murderers aren't held culpable or charged yet, that is engineered change. The service is one and has no regard for another. That's engineered law that many say was never intended to protect us anyway. However, in this story today, as we celebrate Mother's Day, I want to shine the light on Jochebed, Moses' mother, who does a daring deed in defying the king's order. Exodus chapter 2 says that under the government order to kill her baby boy, she instinctively and intuitively and inherently and innately knew that that was the wrong thing to do. How often are we aware of what is right and what is wrong, and still do not have the temerity nor the gumption to make a decision to do what is right? In this text, Jochebed and Amram, Moses' parents, are victims of a new norm that is constructed and engineered by Pharaoh that puts Moses' parents in a dangerous, difficult, and disfavorable position. However, if you are going to be aware or knowledgeable of how to parent in difficult times or in perilous times, there is a question that you have to ask, and that is, how might I parent, particularly as a mother, on today in perilous times? Well, for starters, when have mothers not parented in perilous times? Mothers of all hue, mothers of all ethnicity, mothers of all community and context. When have our sisters, queens and princes, not parented in difficult times? When our sisters were brought here to breed and to plant, pick, and prepare Pharaoh's crop. When has it not been a difficult time? Or when has it been that our mothers and our sisters, aunts, grandmothers haven't parented in pain, in perilous times? When you think about even today having to tell your children that they have to be extra cautious and careful, even out while jogging and exercising on any given day, they have to be careful. It causes us as a community to experience existentially perilous times and incessant pain. How do you parent in perilous or difficult times? You do so by realizing, first of all, that it requires a commitment to life. The text says in verse 2, when Jochebed, that's Moses' mother, became pregnant and gave birth to a son, and saw that the baby was beautiful. The word beautiful means that when she saw that the baby was alive, she did what she had to do to protect him and to provide for him for 3 months. When she saw the baby was healthy, that was all that it took. Perhaps she saw a sparkle in his eye. The life that was in his eye that perhaps mesmerized her as she understood that she had been permitted to participate in the process of giving life to others that was given by God. You're going to parent successfully in perilous and or in difficult times. You have got to be committed to life. And certainly on today, we celebrate Jochebed's commitment. The text says when she saw that the baby, not that the baby was beautiful, but when she saw that the baby was healthy, she hid him for 3 months. She did what she had to do in order to keep her baby alive. There are sisters in here today who are watching via social media who too have made tremendous sacrifices and decisions to ensure the life and the probability and possibility of your children's future. Because more than anything, you were committed to life. And if you're going to parent in these perilous times in which we live today, you're going to have to understand that it takes a commitment to live and not to die. Jochebed was concerned about living, and she was not going to prevent her child from having an opportunity to experience life. Just think about it. How now we live vicariously through our own children. Perhaps we've not done what we have wanted to do or wished we would have done by now, and we superimpose upon our own little babies, our own little children, desires that we had for ourselves that were not realized. But this text talks about today that Jochebed starts off with defying the king's order to ensure that Moses might become whatever it is that God wanted him to become, not what she wanted him to become. If you want to parent in difficult times, you got to realize that there has to be a commitment to life, but also if you're going to parent in these difficult times of COVID-19 and coronavirus, when you don't know what tomorrow will be or bring, if you're going to successfully parent in these difficult times, you got to understand that it takes courage, even a confidence and a cockiness to know that God will take care of you in the midst of you executing God's orders. No doubt, Jochebed knew that it was not right to self-sacrifice her own child, or to offer her child as a sacrifice. So she shielded him from the sinister activity of a king who was intimidated by the probability of God's people realizing their potential. What's difficult today, what's difficult tonight is this, and that is there are a lot of people who don't want you to realize or reach your own potential. And they will do whatever they have to do to thwart that, to diminish that, to detract or distract from that. They'll do anything to keep you from reaching your potential. What if Jochebed had just given her baby boy into the hands of the Egyptian empire? It is possible that we never would have had the narrative of God sending someone to Pharaoh telling him to let my people go. Can you imagine what life would be like if you were not a part of it? Do you not feel your own place of significance in life? I mean, there has got to be something that you do here that nobody else can do. I mean, there has got to be something that you are uniquely equipped and designed to do that nobody else can do. Whatever it is that is unique to your set of competence and your skills, you got to do it and do it to the glory of God. I thank God for Jochebed because she defied the king's order because she had a commitment to life. That's what mothers do. They are committed to the lives of their children. But it also takes, if you're going to do it right, it takes courage, cockiness, and even a confidence to know that God will take care of you. It was a dangerous decision that she made. If the king had gotten wind of her having a male baby, it would have cost her even her life. It was a dangerous decision. It was a rather deliberate decision. She made it without any outside influence. It was a decision that also was deemed worthy to be made because she knew that God was the giver of life. But it also was a decision that God would later on honor, because just one chapter over, you'll discover that God has a conversation with the life that Jochebed shielded and kept from the sinister activity of a small-minded man. God said to Moses, take off your shoes because where you're standing is somewhere you ain't stood before. And that's what God does. Anytime you talk to God, he takes you to a new vista. He takes you to a new place. He takes you to a new space for you to do something that you have not done before. Parenting in these difficult times requires a commitment to life. It also takes courage and confidence and even a cockiness to know that God's going to take care of you. God's going to take care of you. That's a word for somebody on today. God's going to take care of you. Thirdly and finally, if you're going to successfully parent, and we applaud you, mothers and aunts and grandmothers and sisters and cousins and everybody who has mothered by proxy. We celebrate you. But when you've done all that you could do, third point is that you've got to count on God for everything else. I mean, she said, listen, he had gotten too big, and she could no longer hide him. So she got a little basket for him. She put tar in it, and she put pitch in it, and she took her baby boy and placed him in a basket and put him among the reeds along the banks of the Nile River. Text says in verse 4 that Moses' sister, perhaps it was Miriam, who stood at a distance and who could do nothing, although she saw how vulnerable her brother was. Can you imagine seeing your brother, your sibling, in some dangerous place? And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. I think about, as we close this sermon, I think about all of the players in this production. Nobody ever talks about the trauma that Moses' sister had to endure. Nobody ever talks about how it must have been devastating for her to have to look with pained heart at possibly never seeing her brother again, as she put him, or as the mother, Jochebed, put him in the Nile River. But as fate would have it, God performed what I would call a miracle. Moses was discovered, Moses was seen by Pharaoh's daughter. And she said, this must be one of the Jewish babies. Moses' sister runs over and says, would you like for me to go get a Hebrew woman to nurse him? And of course, you know how the story ends, that Miriam goes and gets Jochebed, and Jochebed is paid to take care of her own son. God is awesome, isn't he? But just like we celebrate the fact that God allowed his mother to raise her and to do so as she was both benefited emotionally and motherly and fiscally, there would come a day again that Moses would have to leave. But God would always orchestrate things on Moses' behalf and turn things around. I just want to celebrate today how absolutely conscious I am of what it means as a mother to exercise courage, commitment to life, to have confidence in knowing that God will take care of you in life. And also how you have time and time again always relied on and counted on God for everything in life. When she could no longer have him, she put him in the water. And that spoke to the fact that she was putting her situation in some way in God's hands. Whatever you're going through today in life, as both of you are encumbered by the unknown of our day, and as you celebrate as mothers on Mother's Day, know that God will turn some things around.